Videos posted by social media users reportedly show a military drill in Pingtang in the Fujian province of China. Separately, this footage of a rocket being launched was released today by Chinese state media. The drills come as Beijing expressed their anger at the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan earlier this week. Well, let's get military analysis on the situation now. Joining me now is retired Air Marshal Ed Stringer, who was also the Ministry of Defence's Director of Operations. Ed, it's great to have you here. Now, China currently holding six drills in these six areas. Are we likely to expect any further escalation at all?
No, I think the first thing to say is this is a diplomatic crisis. This has been caused by Speaker Pelosi making a visit by the most senior American politician for decades. And China's using its military instrument here and that dramatic footage that you've just shown to signal its deep regret and concern about that visit and whether that questions this nuanced balance that we refer to as strategic ambiguity that all parties have maintained over the last couple of decades. So I don't see it being a military escalation. Escalate to what? To an invasion or a blockade, which clearly those six areas ringing Taiwan are supposed to suggest an ability for China to do if it wished to. But a blockade or an invasion are very significant, very difficult military operations that you have to plan and prepare for, and we haven't seen that. And even if they conduct them, they would carry a huge amount of operational and political risk. So I don't see this escalating strategically in the military dimension.
And how does China's military equipment then compare to other developed nations?
Well, that's a good question. The answer is we don't really know. And the reason being is that over past decades, China has relied on the Soviet Union and then Russia to provide it with the bulk of its military equipment. And then it went through a phase of copying that military equipment and building its own. So here you see the Russian flanker, the Su-27 series, and there is the Chinese J-16, a literal copy. But then as China has evolved, and remember, China's been involved in decades worth of industrial espionage against the West, stealing a lot of our technology. It's become a genuine scientific and manufacturing superpower, and now it's overtaken Russia in its ability to build high-tech military equipment. So here you see the J-20, clearly an answer to the American F-22 fighter. And as you can see, we talked about the theft of technology and designs from the West. Well, those look suspiciously similar, don't they? And if you look in the maritime environment as well, though these look quite similar, on the left there, a Type 52 was built very much with Russian, increasingly Soviet increasingly Chinese weapons systems. Here, the much more advanced, stealthy Type 55, which is very highly regarded by the West, is a Chinese design and carries Chinese weapons systems. But I think the point to be made is that's a very steep learning curve for China. And when you're on a steep learning curve, you can make mistakes. They haven't been tested in combat, and China has not actually fought a war since the 1970s. So we do not know how they would perform conducting those sort of complex operations that we've seen Russia fail to manage in Ukraine.
Absolutely, Ed. Thank you very much, Ed Stringer there.